Good afternoon. Welcome to the Coastside Fire Protection District Board of Directors Finance Committee meeting this afternoon. Roll call, Jean?
President Burke,
Yes.
Director Cockrell.
Yes.
You are here.
We'll forego the pledge of allegiance. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the board at this time? Seeing none, I'll close the public meeting. Good forward to the consent calendar. Jean, can two of us approve the consent calendar?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I move to approve the minutes of November 15, 2003 special meeting. Second. All in favor? Aye. Aye, approved. B, I move to approve the minutes of March 26 special meeting. I vote aye. Aye. All right, thank you very much. Moving on now to new business, review the 225 preliminary budget. Chief, would you like to kick us off, or do we want to just launch into it?
We can launch into it if you want, but and before you use the staff report, which is included in the package for the board meeting this evening. Chief West, myself, and Michelle got together, went through this year's actuals compared to the final budget of what was approved last year, and then created the preliminary budget for 25-26. And I can go into specifics if you'd like, or I can have to answer questions. I know you have some recommendations.
Why don't we just go for questions, just to say, it could save us a little time. I'm just looking for my copy here, but I've got 2 copies. Yeah, I got 2 copies also. Chief, these are not in any particular order, but I'd just like to make some comments.
Yeah.
Having to do, and then I'm going to make some suggestions in the committee that I would like to bring forward to the board meeting that might require some changing. But just some general comments on the item. In the staff report on the first page, which is actually page 2, it refers to allow a transfer out to California class. And I would just say that one board member just had no intention of going to California. California class to me isn't an investment to diversify, but it's not a place like Lake where you park money. So references to California class, I don't think would be appropriate.
So I misunderstood your recommendation at the last meeting.
Oh,
then.
okay.
So we looked at putting that potential $1 million aside for paying off the PERS liability,
Yeah.
and we were to put it in class because the return
Oh,
was
I see.
higher.
I see
And
that.
then identify that, because within class you can specify specific accounts with identification.
I did
Where
not
if
know
you put
that.
it into LEAF or PARS, there's restrictions in which you can and can't use it. Where
So-
class you have, if the board changed their mind in the future and wanted to use those funds for something different,
Yes.
they have that option.
So class has special categories.
Sub accounts within our account, so we can
Very interesting.
maintain the books appropriately.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I did not know that. And your point here in the report is appropriate. Thank you. Okay. The budget and some of the comments in here were based upon the 24 budget, the comparisons and so forth, which is somewhat awkward because, I kind of look at where we are this year, actual versus what the budget is in the past. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but it does, I think you have to recognize that we're dealing with the projected budget from 24 as to where we are today. For example, if I recall correctly, I have to look at it, but if you look at I think it was a 1.5% increase that was suggested, that would bring us up, that amount based upon the budget would actually bring us up to less revenue than we actually have this year. So that was one of the concerns that I had to do with it. That's just a comment, but let me just go through a couple of other things. I think that most of us certainly realize that our expenditures for the district is some 60% of budget, but that is somewhat deceiving in the sense that not deceiving, but due to the fact of the CAL FIRE contract paid what it is. And secondly, that in the last budget, we had projected, I think, some $5 million for Station 44, which we didn't use. So to say that we're 60% of the expenses is a little bit misleading to somebody who has not taken a look at this. The other thing that I'm not sure whether it is understood in outside of the district, but if you look at our spreadsheet and where we are, and I'm looking at the one that is the year to date and just the expenses across the top. For example, the beginning balance we had here was beginning cash balance in May was $12 million. And then we had revenue for the month and so forth. And then we had a total of $13 million. And then we subtract $2 million and come back and come down to cash balance, operational, so forth, $11 million. And so the bottom line is, after you take out the $2 million, we've got $9 million. But in addition to that, we get $2 million, right? Am I correct? Follow me through this. You know, it says we got $11 million in terms of general operating reserves. After they subtract the $2 million, we subtract it. So we come up with $11 million. And then we take out the budget expenses for the month, and we come down to $9 million. But in fact, that $9 million is available for expenses and all that. But in addition to that, we get $2 million operational reserves. And I don't think there's anything wrong with this here, but it's just the fact that if you look at this, you think all we got at California in San Mateo is $9 million. We actually have 11 million. Yeah. And I don't know, I just bring it up just so that the board is aware of it. And we don't confuse ourselves as to what, maybe there's that $2 million is, even when we first put it in there as an operational reserve, has always caused a little confusion as how you, from an accounting point of view, how you handle it. But I just point out that we had $11 million, not $9 million in the, with San Mateo.
So our monthly net is 11,391, not 9,391.
Yeah, but in our practice, the $2 million sits there until we need it. It's not something that.
Yeah, it's reserved.
Exactly. And that was just a point. The other item that I think, and I don't exactly remember, but from a financial point of view, I think it was significant. We paid off the CalPERS in this miscellaneous in 2025. That is not noted, doesn't have to be, but the fact is we did it. The other, just moving on to general comments, I don't know where, maybe it's in there in the 2026 budget, where the cost of the temporary facilities for 44 are they in there someplace?
So the cost for the temporary facility,
Yeah, behind the
That's
sheriff's
part-
station.
that's part of that $5.4 million
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
that we have not expended, which will roll over
Yes.
to next year, which kind of makes it slightly inflated, right? Like we were talking
Yes.
about earlier.
Yes, and I'll come back, but I just wanted to know where it was. That does it, if you will. Another explanation. I noticed that a couple of times now, somebody has noted that our 75% of personnel cost doesn't exceed 75%. The reason I think we've kind of outgrown that, but originally what it was that at one point in time, the district had literally 94% of the budget in personnel and benefits. And we didn't have enough money to buy an engine for a truck. So we set this goal of 75%, no more than 75% for
Personnel.
personnel and benefits. But today I think it's just a useless figure. I don't pay
Okay.
attention to it anymore, but so I don't think it's
But we
necessary.
consistently come in under the 75%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're fine. I'm not, but that's where it came from.
Okay.
I didn't wanna keep doing that type
Those
of.
arbitrary numbers with that.
The other, just to finish off, the ALS JPA, I don't based upon where we stood with that, I don't expect any changes in revenue from them for the last couple of years. And the comment, which is again, a little bit deceiving, when I first looked at it, there's a comment in in there about the fact of an increase, that is to CalPERS. Because we expected an increase, but because we paid off the miscellaneous, I would anticipate it wouldn't be any more, it might even be slightly less. Don't expect to do anything different, it's just a comment to.
Yeah, so last year on the CalPERS, the estimate was,
One,
it was 1.3 or 4.
Yeah.
1.3 was the budget. It actually came in at 1.75. 1.75 is what they actually
Yeah.
charged us. We received an estimate 2 months ago, I believe it was, and 1.75 should be appropriate to cover the estimate, but we won't know that until July 1st when they
It's-
provide that.
great, understood, we're all set. Um, okay, I'm gonna, make a couple of suggestions. It would be finance committee suggestions, but the chat about it, and if appropriate, bring it forward to the board to do it, but I would suggest making sure that we increase the projected revenue based upon the 2% based upon the actual projected revenues, as near as you can tell, not based upon the 24 budget. Because if you increase it 1.5 or 2% on the budget, that would give us less revenue than we have year to date now.
Correct.
So if you can base it upon, and I think 2%, as far as I know, we've got a healthy economy. We've got some, I don't think any headwinds that are unknown at this point. But as whatever the revenue number is in our final budget, I would suggest a 2% actually, as close as we can get it. Would be a suggestion for that.
Though it'd still be conservative.
I think so. I mean, it's, in September, we'll have additional money that will come forward. The overall budget, I mean, is adequate, more than adequate in many areas. And I, as a board member, understand that. I don't want to go down each line item. I would simply rely on you and the associate chiefs and everything else to, manage it correctly and so forth. Not spending every dime that's in that line item, but rather than going through every line item and trying to, debate it. I don't think it's worth the time. I trust and rely on you to do it. And here's the last comment I would make. We have spent a lot of time and effort going back a couple of years to create a reserve fund for Station 44. And to have a budget that we have where if you look on where you see it, page, the last page of our budget. And where we're trying to manipulate this and say that we're going to spend $5.8 million on Station 44, which, is fine to do it. But we're doing it, if you will, and if we do it this way, in theory, we're going to reduce the monies that we have available in our working fund at San Mateo considerably. We might come out at $2 million. And which I think frankly is a little bit close. I would not want to do that. But I see no reason why we're not taking and transferring money from Leaf that we've saved for these many years. And rather than having zero transfers in from Leaf, that we transfer in $6 million. And use that rather than trying to jerry-rig the budget to handle it. And that would be something that I would suggest. We've saved the money for Station 44, we put it away, and it's there. And I think we should do it without complicating it. Just transfer it in. That doesn't affect our San Mateo operating budget or anything else, and I think it might make it a little bit cleaner.
So we're talking about,
So that would leave us $11 million in late for 9 million, excuse me, because we have
Yeah.
15 in there.
Yeah. And I realize that we don't know what the costs are and all that for the new station, but we're clearly gonna be spending money and you're gonna need it and so forth to have it here. And there's I don't know if you've encountered it yet, Chief, but if you trying to transfer money from Lake to San Mateo, there's a delay of some kind. I mean, it takes a few days and sometimes we've had a little problem with contractors and vendors and want the money, but I think I would just suggest transfer it and have and objections or comments.
so you wanna get that money where we can get our hands on it.
Exactly, you know, the way it's budgeted here, we're really using the San Mateo what I call the operating budget. And I think we ought to use the reserve fund that we specifically created to pay it.
Would you be okay if I worked with Sean to establish kind of a work plan on the estimated costs we're gonna be spending? And maybe do a tiered plan, so instead
I
of
mean,
taking
absolutely.
6 million that we're gaining good interest on. Maybe do a 2 million for a 3-month period.
I don't know the difference between Leaf and the county in terms of interest rates.
Okay.
Okay, but to answer your question, I am not opposed to it. I just want to start using that reserve money. As opposed to. Trying to work around our operating fund, okay? Now, the last point I mentioned a couple of times here in previous meetings is getting a CalPERS exit fund. And you explained something to me earlier regarding Cal Class, and that's $750,000. And the suggestion of the motion I'd make is twofold. One is, in addition to that $750,000 going into Cal Class, we also add to that the undesignated monies that's already in Cal PERS, which is $990,000. So you add the $750 and the $990,000, and that comes up to $1.7 million. And when you leave that in Cal Class, we take the undesignated money, put it in Cal Class, add it to what's already there, and we identify it as I'll pick a name, but I'll say Cal PERS Exit Fund. That doesn't upset anybody.
Sure, CalPERS, we upset them, but they of course want to keep us in because
So
it's
just
all.
to clarify, we would take the undesignated $990,323 roughly.
Yeah.
In Leaf that's undesignated, transfer that to Cal Class.
Yeah, now I don't know whether to leave it in Leaf.
Yeah, I'll look at return rates and make sure that we're.
Yeah, I'm not strong on that, but I want to make it sure that we have at least $1 million in the Cal PERS exit fund. Okay. The other funds that we have with Haas and Cal Class seem to be doing well. I have no comments on that at all. They seem to be healthy at all. Ready to go home? Anything?
No, just like some of the changes, just so some of the big kind of ticket items that are on the expenditures this year. There is roughly, based on last year's projected budget, there was about a $450,000 PERS increase potentially for that, because we do a lump sum, we have to do
Yeah.
payments. Which helps reduce that
Yes.
overall cost. So based on their projection, that's one increase that we're seeing this year. And then there's about 1.5, 1.6 million, and that is for the potential purchase of a water tender if we move forward with that. The type
Chief,
six.
let me interrupt, excuse me for just a second, but the increase of 450,000 is over the budget amount, not the actual amount, because we paid CalPERS 1.7 last year.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
So it's almost static from what we
Exactly.
paid last year. This is off of what initially it was 1.3 was the estimate, and then
Yeah.
they came in a little bit higher.
Yeah.
And then we have the water tender if the board moves forward with that built in. The type 6 engine and which is part of the vehicle replacement plan, and then the 2 staff vehicles.
Two questions. One request, one is that I before we approve those are the like I meant last minute, meeting I mentioned. I'd like to see the spreadsheet on where we for the equipment.
Yep.
But I think the water tender was,
Yeah.
fine, yeah, go forward.
Yeah, no kidding, in this area, it's a no-brainer, it seems to me,
Yeah,
if we have the money for it, of course.
yeah,
Yeah, we built that in to make the budget balanced.
yeah. Are there any more comments to make with that in the budget, Gene? Any?
I did find, when I looked through it originally, I could not find the lease for station 41, but I see it is in the budget,
Okay.
my error, it's in,
Okay.
It's like 5,000 a month.
yeah, a little over 5, yes.
No, we're very fortunate, as you all know, I looked and read some of the news this morning, the state level was bumping all over the place on budget, activities and what they need to do. Some of the other, counties and cities and so on also having challenges as well. We're a very, I think, solid position, thanks to a lot of proud to yourselves.
One of the things I was getting concerned about is someone's gonna see it and say, hey, we'll figure out a way to take it.
Then without objection, the finance committee meeting is adjourned. Good meeting. I did not realize that Cal Class had that off.